Yo, what up? It's your boy DJ Snailman back at it again on the track, bringing you another AUG. AUG stands for audio blog. I got my good friend Danny over here. Everyone give him a round of applause.
What's up, guys? How you doing? My name's Danny.
Alrighty, we're gonna talk about a little band that, you know, some people probably have heard of them, other people probably haven't if they're not in the fucking metal genre. We're gonna talk about Slipknot.
So earlier today, I remember we were just kind of discussing, like, I don't even know how to say it, the grounds on Joey Jordison's dismissal. You know, it was kind of tragic and almost sudden. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you already have heard and know about how it happened, but we were kind of discussing, you know, what could have gone differently.
Right. They said, news was reported that Joey Jordison got fired from Slipknot, and all the fans are going wild, like, why did he get fired? Did he actually get fired, or did he quit, or did he kill himself?
See, like, and a lot of people were speculating that it was he was hooked on drugs, or maybe he died, you know, but we all knew that Paul had died.
Right.
And that's another good point that we can get into, is sort of how long the band kept going after Paul was actually dead.
Alright, so we're just gonna try to find some fucking information here about how it happened.
So, as I was saying, a lot of people had speculated that he was dead or on drugs and other things. Obviously, we all have found out and know by now that it was a genetic disease, some kind of genetic disease that it affected the lower part of the spine, which actually... This is very awkward, but it's okay because we're also a comedic vlog, so, you know, it's kind of funny.
We're a little bit of everything.
All right, so I do remember.
Hold up, there's news about Slipknot. The Slipknot teases have begun. Oh fuck, the Slipknot teases? Can you feel it? No, it's the pulse of the maggots. This is from Metal Injection, quoting all this. Can you feel it? No, it's the pulse of the maggots. It's the first tease of the new Slipknot album cycle. The band's been working all year on new music that it's evil, dark, and vicious, according to Corey Taylor, and it looks like they might be done. New masks are in production. The cycle is beginning. The band posted what seems like the first teaser for a new album on their social media. Oh fuck, we gotta watch this.
I literally just clicked onto my Instagram, guys, and all of a sudden, I follow Steve-O on Instagram, so the first thing that pops up onto my Instagram feed is a picture of Steve-O holding up this hot-ass blonde chick, butt naked. Both of them, butt naked. If you have Instagram, which I'm sure a lot of you guys do, get on Instagram and look up Steve-O's Instagram page, because this is on hell of a hot picture.
We're trying to talk about Slip now. What the fuck?
I don't know. I'm just gonna talk about anything, bro. You know that.
Alrighty. Alright, we gotta watch this fucking thing. Hold on.
Okay, so we're watching a video on the new Slipknot teaser, guys.
It's just a fucking heart glitching.
It is. It's literally just a heart glitching.
Oh, it's a heart with the freaking goats in the middle. See that?
Oh, dude, it's the heart with the... It's okay, so the image is a heart with the Slipknot goats in the center of it.
Yeah, well, I'll post a little picture on it when I upload to YouTube of what I'm seeing right here. I'll put a screenshot right now. Boom. Screenshot. And that's all it is. It's just glitching out. There's no music. It's literally just... That might A, be their new emblem, or B, that might just be like them trying to tease, like, hey, here's some artwork we made. That might be their new album art too. Hoping that's not, because it just doesn't seem, you know, to have its full potential. What do you think about this? Do you think it's going to be album art, or do you think it's going to be...
I think it's an album concept art.
It could be album concept art, or it could be maybe something off another single. Might be previewing a single. But only time will tell. I'm hoping that's not going to be album art, because I've seen way better from Slipknot.
Honestly.
That could just be them hyping up the crowd, too. So... We'll see what happens. Anyways, we're getting back to looking at Joey Jordison. What happened to him? And
oh, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to head to Joey Jordison's Instagram right now. Also, what do you think of, honestly, give me your honest opinion of Vimic. I kind of do like them.
They're good. It's just not what I was expecting from Joey. I don't know if he started the band or if someone came up to him and was like, hey, we gotta make a band, and he was like, okay. But it just doesn't seem like it's his realm of music. Sure, it's metal, but it's so different from anything else. And yeah, Murder Dolls was different, but
Oh my god, Murder Dolls, that brings me back. That brings back the nostalgia.
they were fucking trash.
Dude, I used to actually like Murder Dolls because I don't know, I liked the whole that classic 90s emo look.
Right.
It was kind of interesting in my opinion.
The vocalist was just, I don't know, nothing really got to me with that band. I didn't really enjoy them as much as other bands. But, you know, they're good for what they are, I guess. For those of you who like them or those who don't, whatever. Anywho.
I just yawned.
Oh my god.
It was a
Vape
big
Nation.
ass yawn. Vape Nation. Oh, that's right. You guys need to tune in to our new YouTube channel. We are calling it Your Daily Dose of Everything. I know there's already Your Daily Dose of Internet, Your Daily Dose of Random. I know those are already things on channels on YouTube. Ours is called Your Daily Dose of Everything. It's going to be featuring the podcasts. It's going to be featuring random videos, music, everything. It's going to be it's everything.
Yeah,
It's your
bit
daily
of
dose
everything.
of everything. So
Comedy videos, comedy skits,
Oh, yeah.
podcasts, guitar riffs, full-fledged songs or demos of songs we've been working on. All of it.
yeah. And I mean, our podcast like this one today is just literally going to be uploaded to Your Daily Dose of Everything because it's random and we don't know what we're doing because
Story of my
you
life.
know
Alright, let's look this up.
you clicked on this video podcast thing. So yeah, you know, you basically are expecting to just get a bunch of randomness. I appreciate it if you're still on this video though, because that means you're a loyal fan.
Okay, so far I looked up what happened to Joey Jordison, and Google pops up, quote, after years of both sides being silent and evasive as to the reasons of him leaving the band, Jordison revealed in 2016 in June that he suffered from transverse myelitis, a neurological disease which caused him the ability to play which cost him the ability to play the drums toward the end of his time with Slipknot.
Now I heard that disease could potentially be permanent. So the fact that he came back from it.
Well, yeah, the fact that he came back from it, Slipknot should have had him back with Slipknot.
Well, see, at that point they'd already gotten Jay Weinberg, and
Fuck my phone.
his phone just made a weird ass noise.
Okay.
No, at that moment at that point, like we said before, they'd already gotten Jay Weinberg, and Grey Chapter had already been sort of being created. They were finishing that album.
So they couldn't really go
Joey
back to a
Joey
different
was
drummer.
already working on his other bands. He was working on Vimic as well, obviously.
Yeah.
Um,
We're on Scarlet Martyr too.
Scarlet Martyr, which I don't know if they quit or.
Well, I'll look it up in a second. And more info on why Joey left. Drummer Joey Jordison has revealed the reason that he parted ways with Slipknot. When Jordison left the metal outfit in 2019, his departure was put down to personal reasons. While accepting the reward, Jordison revealed that so it's pretty much about this disorder he had, which is why Slipknot was like, you know what, get out of here. Which is, I think that's fucking rude. I think that's stupid. The fact that a band this popular, who Joey, they love Joey because he wrote a lot of the songs in the first album. He had a big part of that album. And the fact that they kicked him out because he had a disease he couldn't control, that's just stupid. And then again, it's like the fact that when you go to work and you break an arm or a leg or something, you know, the boss is like, hey, you know, you haven't been here for a long time because of your broken arm, and we don't know why we're keeping you because, you know, we can't afford to keep you, so we gotta just let you go. And that sucks. You know, that shouldn't happen, especially in a band. At work, I can understand, but a band, no. That's dumb.
You know what else? It was sad because he posted on social media that no one visited him when he was in the hospital with this disease, except I think for Sean.
I don't know if he let out the the message that he was in the hospital. I don't think he wanted that out there, because then everyone would be like, oh my god, George Orson's in the hospital.
Right.
He'd get too much overload. So I'd rather be alone and knowing that's probably the best decision rather than a million people coming up to me and having no personal time to myself. Because if I was in the hospital, I just want to heal. That's it.
Right.
I just want to heal, get the time done, get out of the hospital, and then, be like, hey, it's a miracle, I'm back.
Of course. I mean, the one good thing though, since he's become healthy again, and since he's back into the music industry, Vimic, he's taken a lot of his skill, a lot of his style, that classic Joey Jordison style, to Vimic. And if you listen to some of the songs, in fact, there's one song that I personally love from Vimic. It still sounds like Joey. It's your classic Joey sound.
It does. It just feels like he's lacking. He sounds a little bit too basic from what he did in Slipknot. But then again, Slipknot was not basic in the slightest. Slipknot had a million things going on with them.
Right. I'd like to get your opinion on Jay.
Jay Weinberg is fucking phenomenal. His skill, I didn't think he'd be that good of a drummer. The first song I heard was, when they released their new album, or even before that, they put out their single, what was it called? It was the Negative one. And, it sounded really good, really fast. At the same time, everyone's saying, oh, it's fucking basic drumming, blah, 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 blah. And a lot of people liked it at the same time. So he has this dynamic of being very solid with his drumming and very fast-paced. But, like, the fact is, like, his fills don't always go perfectly according to the whole song with his drums. You know how Joey Jordison will always put different fills, but they would fill the gaps and not make it something too extra.
I always noticed Joey was a little bit darker in Slipknot. Jay seems kind of more of a flashy, showy when it comes to his sound. Yeah,
it's for sure, because the cymbals are super bright sounding. His snare drum, I love his snare drum sound. It's just that pop that is just perfect, but at the same time doesn't give that much oomph to the record.
Like, and speaking of the cymbal, the snare pop, in Kill Pop, that I don't know if that was Sean that was doing that was messing with the snares, or if that was an actual snare hit. But it still sounded really good.
It was, because you saw in the Kill Pop video, I don't know if you watched that.
I saw Sean, he was messing with the snares.
That's what it had to be, because I've done that before and it sounded like that. But yeah, Jay's doing great. They didn't kick him out of the band, because Slipknot all said, Sean's like, you know what, they're disposable. If we don't like him, we don't need him, and then kick him out.
Initiation video watching The Devil and I, man, that was the burlap sack masks, man.
Yeah. I mean, they kept those masks the whole tour because Slipknot wouldn't allow them to change their masks yet.
To
they haven't
individualize, basically.
Yeah. They're like, these are new people, and they don't look anything different from each other, which is why they both have the same type of masks, But now that the new album's coming out, I can't wait, because they have proven they're still in the band. We both know it because we saw a Instagram post of Jay Weinberg's drum set, and the caption said, just to let you know what type of album we're making. And on his drum set, just pure blood, just nothing but blood in his fucking snare drum.
Oh man,
and,
I mean, that's pretty funny.
It is. Like, there's times where I'm like, I would love to be in Slipknot. Like, yeah, it'll be awesome. I wouldn't make it. Even if I was an amazing drummer, I wouldn't be able to do that to myself, to bleed all over a drum set. Like, I don't even think Joey Jordison played that hard till he bled.
Right.
I don't know. I think he did in Iowa. But
I remember. I do remember the drumsticks dipped in his own blood.
Yeah. That was cool.
The Joey Jordison signature drumsticks. Those were cool.
Those.
He actually does own a pair of those, and I touched them.
Now he got AIDS.
I touched his stick.
He touched his stick and Joey Jordison's blood. He has AIDS now.
Oh shit.
But like, I have a Slipknot stick bag, Slipknot sticks, like 6 or 7 different Slipknot shirts. Trying to get 9 of them.
Obviously, we're on the topic of Slipknot.
Yeah.
The show coming up.
Oh, fuck me. I spent, I don't know if it was 184 or 148, but I spent a crap ton of money on 2 tickets to see a
3-day.
Yo, there's a band called 3-Do, man. I don't know if you ever heard of them. But, no, I spent tickets to see a 3-day concert starring Slipknot, Slayer. Slayer's not always going to be in the ticket package. I think they're on the last day. But Slipknot, Slayer, I think 3 Days Grace, Chevelle I know is going, Gojira, Korn, a bunch of big name bands are going to be in this performance called Ticket to Rock, and I'm seeing them, and I cannot wait. It's my Valentine's gift to my girl, bless her heart.
Right? I can't believe she's still with this man.
Yeah, me neither. Like, what the fuck? Why you gotta torture me like this? Anywho. So yeah, we're gonna see what we're gonna fucking Pichu. You know?
Fucking Pichu.
Great transition.
He's actually talking. All right, so we're recording this podcast in my bedroom right now, and I've got a shelf up in the corner of my room. There's a Pichu plushie doll sitting on the shelf. Oh man.
Anywho.
All right, so
Slipknot.
we're gonna finish up the Slipknot stories.
Slipknot.
Slipknot.
All right, so reason George Orson isn't in Slipknot because Slipknot's a dick and was like, hey, fuck you, you ain't gonna be in this band because you're paralyzed. All right, next thing we're gonna talk about the guitarists. Okay, the guitarists are like the most versatile, different guitarists I've seen ever because you got the rhythm guitarist who's Mick Thompson, who adds way more flavor.
Oh my god, I idol Mick Thompson so much.
Mm-hmm.
I would, if I could match his level of play.
Dude, he's practiced for years and years. I remember watching a documentary where Mick was like, or one of Mick's guitar, like he went to a guitar store and this dude gave him lessons and stuff, and the guy talked about how Mick was just so good and just got better and better. It was all thanks to him, you know?
Right. Dude, I remember watching videos of Mick Thompson just shredding videos. They weren't even like tutorials, they were just him shredding. So those were fun.
Those are, all you gotta do is know your scales and stuff. But he does that thing where like, he's that person in Slipknot where he doesn't just do chords, rhythm and stuff. He adds different effects. He adds like different like pinch harmonics and different harmonics and tones and different stuff. He puts a whole, he's a dude who has a million pedals.
I've always kind of wondered that. Do performers, musicians, guitarists, do they actually use their pedals that often in show, or is it their PA guys?
A lot of times it's both. You know, like if it's a difficult task, you know, because Slipknot goes ham all the time. So like if it's an easy thing like wah pedal, Mick Thompson will use that, you know. If it's something like flanger with modulation with a phaser on top of it, you know, Mick isn't gonna go fucking tap dancing on the fucking pedal boards while he's headbanging to a fucking Slipknot song.
Oh, that's the one thing I know Mick can't headbang that much anymore.
Yeah.
Spinal problem. He's got a bad back.
Well, I mean, did you see him on the Iowa record? He was going ham the whole time. No shit, he has a bad back, you know?
Right.
Like, that's, you know, headbang. But don't headbang so much that you can't headbang when you're 40 or 50. You'll be fucked, and then you'll look like a fucking stiff pole. You know?
Like Mick.
Yeah.
He stands on stage and just...
I got a freaking story where, like, I watched a Slipknot concert over on YouTube, and their .5 Degree chapter tour, and one of the comments was, Mick looks like he's got a fucking broomstick up his ass.
The funny thing is that's a valid visualization.
Yeah. But so you have Mick, who's the fucking experimental guy of the guitars for sure. He does a lot of different fucking sounds. Then you got
what's their lead guitarist name?
Why am I forgetting this? I know these people. Frickin'
What is their lead guitarist?
Jews. You got Jews over there.
The Jews, bro.
On the other guitar. Fuck. We figured out his name. It's James Root. Jim. Okay, so James Root. Jim Root. I don't know what the fuck it's doing. It's being weird. It's still working. You can hear it clearly. Jim Root.
Literally our podcast,
Laptop.
our software. Our software is being very, very janky right now.
Side note, it's Jim Root, not James Root.
Yo, let me hit the Stig.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into talking about vape in just a second,
We're
guys.
so cool. Fuck, I'm vaping. OMG. Cancer. Yay. Cancer's cool.
Do not follow in our footsteps because we're bad people.
We're stupid. But not stupid enough to make a podcast, right? But yeah, so James Root. Jim Root. This guitarist is pretty good. I don't know, he's really good. His solos don't tend to change that much. Like
I gotta stop you there. Sorry, I'm coughing like a bitch.
Pussy. Don't smoke cigarettes, guys. Don't do it.
I'm holding a hole in my throat.
Oh,
Oh, that's the worst. No, I gotta stop you right there. When it comes to lead guitarists, I just Jason
Jim Root.
Hook, Five Finger. Is my lead
He's so
idol.
cliche.
But he's my lead idol. And then I would probably go for another lead idol. I do not know his name.
Jim Root.
But he's the guitarist for Dragon Force.
Don't remember his name, but he's pretty badass.
Yoshi, no, not Yoshi. No,
Jim-
was it Yoshi? No, it's not Yoshi.
It's something Asian.
Something. You fucking racist.
I'm sorry. It's true though.
Oh my god,
You
you're
think Yoshi
terrible.
is just freaking like American? No.
You
Just 'cause
terrible
it's a Nintendo and Mario.
Oh my god. No, I follow. I don't follow his playing style, but god damn it, if I could pick up that one of my guitars,
You use it
and
as motivation.
I'd love to. The sweep picking is one of the hardest things I've ever tried to learn.
I mean,
And
I
I-
wouldn't know because I'm a drummer, not a guitarist.
Right, but I
feel ya.
actually like I know people at like Guitar Center that I've met that can sweep, that can do it flawlessly, and
'Cause they practice all the time.
I know lifeless practicing. Screw that.
Yeah, we don't need practice. Fuck that.
We're the best band in the whole world.
Totally not
We
bragging.
we outshine like
We
everyone.
outshine Shinedown. They got shine down because we outshine them. We're shine up. They're shine down. Fuck you.
You hear that, Shinedown? We are calling you out right
You a
now.
bitch. I'm just kidding. We like
Slipknot,
Shinedown.
we're calling you out. Corey Taylor, I want to challenge you on vocals.
I want to challenge you, the Ice Bucket Challenge.
ALS, I challenge Corey Taylor. Sean, I challenge Andy Biersack. I don't even listen to his music anymore, so he's gonna hate me. He's gonna hate me, but that's all right.
Personal opinion, he's not as good as he used to be. He's too hot. Any? Oh, did I say that? No. I'm
He's
not
too
kidding.
hot.
Oh,
Damn.
Every
Some
guy,
sexy man.
every girl admits that he's attractive. So I have no shame in saying, yeah, he's attractive.
So, well, that's like the same thing with what I was telling you earlier.
Fucking Panic at the Disco.
Oh god, with Brandon Urie.
Yeah.
Brandon Urie is your typical.
Every time I hear Yuri, I think of Brandon Uterus.
The reason I like whenever every time I used to think of his name was like Brandon Urie, Brandon Urine.
Oh god, that too. God, I
Brandon
wonder how much
Urine.
he got picked on in fucking middle school.
Oh my god, you know it. You know he did.
Anyways, back to guitars, the guitarists.
Oh, I actually gonna explain to you guys some of the guitars I have. I own like 7 or 8 functioning guitars right now. The rest of them are functioning. The rest of them are in pieces, either in pieces or needing to be worked on. So if you're interested in picking up some really nice guitars for good practice guitars, good show guitars, good recording guitars, all of the above, I have a Ibanez. I don't know the name of the actual guitar
But
because
it's a guitar though.
I
Doesn't
got
matter.
it as a gift. This guitar is literally from the 60s. It's I actually did some background searching on it. It's actually worth about $20,000.
So don't lose it or break it, because you could sell it and actually become rich for once.
Yeah, I know. And then I have the one that I use mainly for recording my what's the word I'm looking for? It's my main guitar. It's my primary. Is my BC Rich Mockingbird Masterpiece. It's not a
That
very
just sounds good.
yeah. It does. It's not a very like girthy, dark kind of like distorted sounding guitar. More.
It's funny because it looks really like it could just like rip up a fucking amp, you know?
It's not really a metal guitar. The Masterpiece was actually created with more of a clean sounding internal hardware to it. The pickups aren't metal pickups. They're not EMGs. They're just your classic humbuckers.
It's such a funny word, humbuckers.
I know. I don't who
I'm gonna create a guitar thing that makes the string sound. What are we gonna call it, Phil? I don't know. How about we call it a humbucker? Sounds good.
who created the name humbucker
Sounds like a-
pickups?
Like a freaking hick made it.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
But yeah, I do really love how the color scheme of that guitar, how you got, first off, the red and the black, makes it look really like this nice maroon / like blood red thing.
Well, it's
Then
actually-
you got a guitar strap there, which actually adds to it too, which is very.
Oh yeah.
you know,
Well,
good.
what's funny is that color, that guitar color for the body is actually called Dragon's Blood.
Ooh.
Like that's actually what it was called. And so yeah, that's my main guitar. If you guys are interested in getting a really nice guitar that's in a good price range, that's going to be great for pretty much well versed all genres of music, consider investing in the BC Rich Mockingbird masterpiece. It's only about $500. That's fairly good for guitars when it comes to prices.
Also, we'll get to guitars in another segment, but I also have to catch up on the fact that, like, why the fuck is musical instruments, anything music related, so expensive? Like, if you want to become a musician, you gotta already be, like, in the mid class of,
Of life,
Yeah.
of finance.
Yeah, because if you're not, you can't afford anything. And, like, you could easily start off with, like, a cheap mic from Goodwill or a really cheap, like, first stack guitar, but that's not going to get you anywhere if you want to actually, like, start going places. That's good for practicing.
Show-wise, those really cheap stuff it's gonna just drag you down.
It doesn't, like...
And that sucks because there's so much potential in the music industry. It used to be, back in the day, such a cutthroat industry. It was like, if you don't have the look, you're not making it. If you don't have the star quality, you're not making it. These days, they're actually a little bit more lenient of who can get in there.
They're a little bit too lenient nowadays. I've seen bands that are just absolute trash and have stupid guitars, and you have to be good at what you do to actually be good. Like, think of like the older 80s bands like Metallica or Judas Priest. Like, the vocalist of Judas Priest, he practiced their ass off, you know? All those bands practiced their butts off, even Slipknot. But
and like I said, that's because the music industry of those times were so cutthroat.
Yeah, they were very cutthroat. Like, even think of, like, the rap culture nowadays, where, especially with mumble rap.
Oh my
where,
god,
like,
mumble rap. I don't even want to get into that, but the
yeah.
music industry for mumble rap is
or any just
trash.
rap. Like, now they're trying to fling a bunch of different, like, people are trying to be too diverse and make a bunch of different genres that don't actually fit very well, and it's just not working out. But it's all they can do because, one, they want to separate from everyone else, and two, they want to start something new. But I think that music should go back to their old roots. People are starting to like that a lot better. What?
Can you hand me the other box mod?
Yeah. But yeah, like, there's this band called 68 where they have a big blues influence, and they put that with the rock, and they got a little bit of screaming over the top of it, and it's just like this perfect mix, you know? It's not anything too, sorry, mod dropped. Not anything too electronic and too weird. It fit well because it balanced everything out, you know? I think music nowadays needs to go back to the roots and start back up again. You know, there's only so much we can do.
You know it's
to
never
make it
gonna
new.
happen.
There are bands popping up. They're becoming really good. You know, we got Dead, who's going back into new metal stuff.
What's crazy?
Pain Hill.
Ghost has sort of risen as this band that everyone was like, wait, they sound so old. When did they start? They're super freaking recent, like 2010 recent.
Yeah, and they sound old, but like that's because, you know, the old stuff is getting should be the stuff that's getting better now, you know?
I would like to believe that rock and roll will never die. It can only be reborn.
Right.
And
that's what these bands are doing.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Like, when you have this type of influence too to make your sound a little bit older, it actually, like, pans out to a larger audience because you have people who are older who like that type of stuff because they can relate to it. And it also fits with the new generation because, one, it's a new band, two, it's fitting in with their culture as well. So it fits into both eras, you know?
I mean, you make a really good point, and it makes me think about, like, what we're gonna do as a band.
Right.
Some of our ideas being sort of that, like, metalcore, not really alternative metal, but more of a dark metal.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go into the terms of calling us black metal, but we've got the growls, we've got the really dark lyrics when it comes to it. With our guitarist, who we'll have on the show eventually, our guitarist with sort of a mix of this like 80s, 90s, and 2000s style of guitar playing.
He's got a style of 80s mixed with Avenged Sevenfold mixed with Five Finger Death Punch.
And he can get dark. Like his riffs can get very grungy.
Yeah, I've influenced him in, like, Chelsea Grin and heavier bands like that, you know.
Periphery was one of our big influences for some of our new stuff.
Yeah. It's just, like, that's what I'm saying too. Newer bands, they're adding influences to us, you know. And then when we get more popular, if it ever happens, and we're like fucking 30 or 40, we'll be like, yeah, there's that band back in the day called Periphery. They're still playing, or maybe hopefully they'll still be playing, but they influenced us. And then that generation of when we say that, will look back and be like, wow, this stuff is really good. And then, you know,
Speaking of new bands, real quick, I'd like to make a shout out on the air, or on our show, for a band that's trying to grow, that's up and coming. I'm not talking about our own. It's a band from New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Yeah, New Jersey. They from the Jersey Shore.
That's not Australian. What the fuck?
I know that sounded so Australian. I'm terrible, but their name is Generation Underground, and I was asked a while back to fly down to Jersey to be their guitarist, and I declined because I didn't want to give up my position here in my state to be the vocalist of my band. So I have to shout you guys out, Generation Underground. If you're watching this or if you are listening to this, this is a big shout out for you guys. Keep doing what you're doing and make it big, guys.
Where can you find them?
Okay, so if you guys want to find Generation Underground, they
You
do
can
have
find them in New Jersey, but you can also find them online.
They have an Instagram page, Generation Underground. Look them up on YouTube, Generation Underground. And I think they also have a, I think you can find them on iTunes.
What about Bandcamp?
I don't know if you can find them on Bandcamp.
Check Bandcamp, SoundCloud, every music site, see if
Yeah.
they're there, but...
Spotify, I do know they're on Spotify,
Oh, that's good. That's,
which is big. That's a big
that's
platform.
yeah.
They have one full album out now. It's their first EP. And I do have the CD right over there. If you want to, I'll grab that CD and I'll read out what the name of their album is, guys. I'm back. So the name of their first album or first EP is literally a self-titled EP. It's just called Generation Underground. Very generic,
But it works.
Generic works.
Yeah, it works. Like with Slipknot's first album, you know, it was just called Slipknot, you know?
So what's really cool about this album, guys, is it actually features Franz from Attila, Chris Panay of Dillinger Escape Plan,
Those are big bands.
and yeah, these guys are really cool. They're a punk rock group, so it's kind of not really our genre, but they are doing, I mean, they're young kids and they're, you know, making a name for themselves. So I would like you guys, if you're interested in checking out some new music, to check out Generation Underground and go on his Instagram and tell him that Danny sent you.
Alrighty, awesome. So we got heading back to the real main point. Was the guitarist James Root, and how he's definitely the lead person. He's a person who will stick with the song, make a solo every now and then. But what I've noticed with James is that Jim Root, he goes from back and forth from Stone Sour when he was in Stone Sour, and when he was in Slipknot. He would go back and forth, and his solos did really sound the same, but they're more characterized in Slipknot. You know, he really saves his energy and power in Slipknot.
I did not know that Jim Root was in the other
Stone Sour?
Stone Sour. Yeah, I did not know
You
that.
didn't
he
know
was
that?
No.
This whole time.
You're
You're kidding me. He's not in it anymore. He dropped
Right.
out after, like, the House of Golden Bones.
right. I mean, I knew Corey was still doing Stone Sour, obviously,
Mhm.
but I had no idea that Jim Root was in Stone Sour.
If you
as
listen to some of the solos, you can definitely tell it's Jim Root just by the way he like flies with the fingerboard
Okay.
or fretboard. Yeah, you can easily tell it's Jim Root.
Well.
So
I'm gonna have to go back and listen to some of the old songs.
yeah, but I'm hoping that both Mick and Jim will have their own solos and have it be super characterized and super because
In the next album.
Because Slipknot said that this is gonna be the heaviest album ever, You know, it's Iowa levels of heavy. And Corey said that, like, one of the songs they're going to make is going to be the heaviest song ever, and it's going to make you shit your pants. I hope to God I do shit my pants, but I hope it won't be in public, because I'll have to explain to my associates at my job, hey, I got to go to the bathroom. I need new pants, too. I'm sorry I ruined these, but I just listened to Slipknot, and, yeah, I kind of crapped in my pants. But, like, I can't wait for that. I just want them to... knowing the fact that this is going to be such a big album, and like this is the album where like they have never gotten so many fans this interested in Slipknot.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
they always have that like time off where it's a bunch of years apart. Gray Chapter is an exception because, you know, Paul Gray died, so they had to take a bunch of time off. But this was because Corey went and did his own thing with Stone Sour, came back, and now they're just fucking at it. They are at it, and like the way they're talking about it makes it seem like it's gonna be freaking massive. And you know, if you know Corey Taylor, you know that he doesn't lie. He doesn't try to go up on his pedestal. He doesn't try to freaking boost things up when they're not that good in all reality.
That's the one really cool thing about Corey Taylor is he's not one of the type of like frontmen. It's like everything's gonna be about me.
Right.
He's so family versed.
Yeah.
And that band is his freaking family.
Now, in Stone Sour, you can kind of see that, like, yeah, that's his band. You know, he started with the guitarist. But, like, you know, I saw Stone Sour a year or two ago, and they were pretty freaking good. But, like, you could tell everyone was there for Corey Taylor. Like, all the fans were just like, oh my God, it's Corey! You know, like, you can easily tell. Because he's such a good performer, you know. And the rest of the band kind of stood back. They had all their moments to shine, but Corey was the main person who was in it. Same with Slipknot, but Slipknot has more of a duality where they have all of the people on the stage. They're all doing their own things. They're all shining. Corey's just the one that stands out because he's the vocalist. He's the person you hear the most, you know.
Right. I don't like that certain bands. I'm not gonna name any names. I don't like that certain bands will over enunciate. I don't know if I'm using the right term. They put their singers on a pedestal.
Yeah, they put the spotlight on them too much. You know, like even bands like Disturbed, they don't even do that. Like Disturbed has that thing where like they are just a band. You know, it's just all of them. You know, and Disturbed, David Draymond shines out as the lead vocalist because, you know, he has to stand out. He is the lead vocalist, but he's not the like biggest part of the band. He
definitely gives the rest of the band their spotlight
for sure
moment.
For sure. But yeah, so with all this hype about the Slipknot album, I hope to God it's good because I got $184 for tickets to see them, and if it's, you know, like that's another reason why I always love Slipknot and not, you know, other bands as much because...
Do you think Corey's vocals are going to be a little bit different this time?
Hearing their new track, All Out Life, I hope... I mean, Corey already stated that, like, yeah, that song is, like, nothing near as heavy and dark as the rest of the songs are going to be. That was, like, their lightest song. And knowing that, that's going to be... I'm going to flip. But, I hope that Corey's voice hasn't changed too much. It's gotten back a little bit deeper into the growls more. If you remember on the Gray Chapter, listening to All Hope Is Gone and switching to the Gray Chapter, he sounds like an old man having an aneurysm, you know? But like, hearing the Hydrograd album, some of his screams have gotten way lower. So I'm guessing that because it's gonna be Iowa level heavy, he's pushing himself to get lower, pushing himself to try to get back into that really guttural stuff. Right. We just have to wait and see.
That makes sense.
But I mean, whatever they put out is gonna be good. So it's not like Disturbed, where like Disturbed was hyping it up for like this awesome album, something new, something. They had way too much hype for the album. They had a lot of advertisements, a lot of commercials, a lot of, you know, sneak peeks and stuff that wasn't really that necessary for that type of album. Sure, I agree that what they did was completely different, but it wasn't sounding like Disturbed. It didn't. That's why I didn't see them at their concert in Phoenix, because I didn't want to see them, because the album it just didn't click with me. And for some people, a lot of people say it's great. It is great for the fact that I experimented, but for the fact that it doesn't sound like Disturbed, I didn't like it.
Alrighty guys, well, I know I'm just a guest here on this podcast, but I'm getting a notice that we need to take a short break. When we come right back, we will switch over to a new segment.
Alrighty, peace out.